Our total focus in our newsletter is speculation, not politics. When we have situations where political impacts affect how we speculate, we want to be able to mention that. But I want to make sure that we all know we have no intention of recommending any person or any political party for the purposes of politics. That is not our intention at all. Important that you all should know I make no claims to be something that what my advice is going to be worth anything. Anyone should do their own work. And I also have had history since 1975, a number of major mistakes as a result of which I've had considerable volatility in my results. And so therefore, once again, do your own work. There are some of my, I won't say competitors, but colleagues who try to give advice on investment matters without, of course, recommending or guaranteeing anything. And they focus on the stock market, they focus maybe on the bond market. Some of them even get into the commodity markets with things like gold and silver. But the occasional speculator goes well beyond that, because we've heard about Kalshi. What is Kalshi? Why, you make bets on Kalshi. And right now, I'm recommending a bet that the Republicans will hold on to the House. Now, the odds are currently, as of today, about 75% for the Democrats, 25% for the Republicans. So you make a bet, and let's say it goes in a month to 50-50, you can then take your profit, sell and double your money and go on from there. Now, it's true, they're not huge markets, but hey, I bet we've got some readers that don't have a huge amount of money, and this could be spectacular for them. Maybe you come in for $1,000 and you double your money, and that's 2 years later you're millionaires with hopefully a little help from the occasional speculator. What's going on? Well, Just the News is one of the news organizations I cover, and they have an article where their head, John Solomon, is talking to Harmeet Dillon, who is now I believe she's the head of the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department. And what she is talking about is the number of election fraud involving the 2020 election. The evidence is getting overwhelming, and according to Harmeet, why there will be people charged. Grand juries are putting together indictments, and that the result of this, in my opinion, is going to be all of the Democrats and actually some Republicans and so much of the media who've been pitching that, the 2020 election was fair, and what Trump and a number of people on MAGA or the Republican side are saying is, they are, don't admit the truth that the 2020 election, in fact, was fair. And you also have so often in organizations like the New York Times, when they talk about the 2020 election and what Trump has said, they will use the word so often false. They will say Trump is making a false accusation that the 2020 election was rigged. So my attitude is that now that this is coming to light, and by the Justice Department, I have great respect for Harmeet Dillon, very good lawyer, and she's bringing this to the point where I believe by the election we will have convictions of people who will have tried to rig the election in various states, whether it's Georgia or whether it's Arizona. But I believe what she's going to talk about also involves the state of California, all across the country. And so I think the ability of the Democratic Party and the media that support them to suggest that voters in November say, won't worry about this. will be very, very difficult when there'll be all this evidence, including convictions, of how this has happened. And that's the biggest reason why we're going to use Kalshi to be a new speculative area for the occasional speculator to hopefully help some people. Might even do some of it ourselves in the next few months.